1. Hi, I'm Larry Stoney. I'm back at the Chicago Comic-Con just like I promised, and this time I'm with Big Bang Comics. As you can tell, we've got 4 people here besides myself, and they're all kind of big, so this is going to be a really interesting interview. All right, I'm going to start over here, and I'm going to go this way, and everybody introduce yourselves and tell us what you're working on.
Hey, I'm Gary Carlson. I write and edit for Big Bang Comics. I also write the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles book from Image Comics right now.
Well, that's pretty cool. How about you?
I'm Chris, and anybody that's read Big Bang Comics might know me as Tom King. I do the Night Watchman stuff. I co-write a lot of stuff, help to edit the book, serve as sometimes art director and patchwork artist.
Well, that's kind of cool too. And how about you?
My name is DeGeorge. I write the Dr. Weird character and the Venus character for Big Bang, and Dr. Weird will be coming out in his own title that I'll be writing.
When is he coming out in his own title?
That'll be in October, starting in October from October Comics.
October from October Comics. It's kind of nice how that worked out, you know. Coming in December, October. What? Yes. And how about you?
I'm Bud Hansel, and I write The Beacon for Big Bang and whatever else they need me to write. I'm also doing a miniseries Vendetta for Sundragon Comics that'll be out in the fall.
Well, it's kind of cool. A lot of stuff going on there. As fans of the show that have watched this before know, we have interviewed Big Bang Comics before, back when they were with Caliber Press. But now they got picked up by Image, and we'd like to know a little bit about that. How did you guys go from Caliber to Image? Who wants to answer that one?
I think Gary can answer that best.
I can answer it best. I do a lot of my writing at Image for Eric Larson, and right about the time we were doing Big Bang Zero at Caliber Press, we had a cover by Alex Ross, and Eric, they were very impressed that we had the Alex Ross cover, because I mean Alex was the hottest guy in comics right then. Everybody at Image had been trying to get a cover by him, and they were extremely impressed that we had an Alex Ross cover, and found out, they asked what our sales were on and said, geez, if you were here it would have been that much better. And I said, well, you know, we're just leaving Caliber now. And they said, well, come on over. We had already made a deal. We were starting to work with some of the Image guys to do retro versions of their characters, Eric's Mighty Man character, and we'd done a Shadowhawk, and we decided if we're going to be doing those characters, we might as well be doing them at Image rather than anywhere else.
Well, that makes kind of sense. And now I'm going to have you folks talk about your first pro work, and also I'm going to ask you about the characters that you're doing and give us a little background, because not a lot of people have heard about Dr. Weird, and not a lot of people have heard about a lot of this stuff. So what was your first pro work? And then after you do that, just tell us about the character you're working on and just give a synopsis, basically.
Okay. My first pro work, I wrote and edited a book called Megaton back in the 80s. Megaton was a black superhero. Let's see, I worked on that throughout the 80s, took a few years off, I came back. My first real pro work outside of working for myself was a character called Vanguard, who was an extraterrestrial soldier who was stationed here to prevent his world's enemies from invading this planet. From there I went on, I've written Supreme at Image. I'm working on a Mighty Man miniseries that's coming up. I plotted some Deadly Duo stuff, scripted Mars Attacks the Image Universe, and of course Big Bang. So
you did Deadly Duo. I love that thing.
I really only plotted an issue or two of that, so the Spawn issue was one of mine.
I love that issue. I swear to God, I thought that was just hilarious. Okay, and how about you? First pro work and stuff that you're working on.
First pro, well, yeah, I did do some assistant work on the Dick Tracy newspaper strip with Rick Fletcher. I was a lettering assistant, and I got to do some layouts, and that was pretty cool. But really, I got my start at Megaton Comics, along with what Gary was doing. The very first issue of Megaton, we did a character that was called the Crusader, along with everybody else having a character called Crusader. And he,
because it was supposed to be retro. I mean,
yeah, exactly. It was originally done as a retro thing back in 1984, was it?
82 is probably when. The whole idea behind Megaton was there were going to be a whole bunch of new superheroes coming in and taking over for the older superheroes. And most of Megaton was the new superheroes. We had planned to go back and tell a lot of the older stories, and that didn't happen until we started with Big Bang here. So,
and the Crusader actually was kind of an idea that stuck with me for a while, and I had wanted to do something after I had seen also my share of art directors that said, gee, it's nice, kid, but you draw like an old guy. So I decided, well, I'll draw like an old guy, and I'll draw old guy comics. So I came up with a character called the Protector, who took a sideways step to being called the Night Watchman with an N, and then Gary saw it, he goes, hey, put a K in front of it.
Well, actually, now that you speak about the Night Watchman, if I remember correctly, he was once a real-life wrestler for Windy City.
Well, that went well. I mean, fan reaction was really good to the Watchmen. However, the people who are involved with Windy City Wrestling, I don't think they recognize the full potential of what we could do on a promotional basis, and they had their own business to run, and it was a mutually satisfying thing when we were doing it, but it was a little hard to keep somebody in the ring at all times. Luckily, and just out of the blue, yesterday I met with some people who happen to be Big Bang fans first and promoters and wrestlers second, and we will see a new Night Watchman in the ring in Indiana and Wisconsin.
Looks like the wrestling show's coming back later too. Okay. I used to do a wrestling show. That's coming back. All right, now we're going to be talking to Ed. Now, Ed, like I said, a little bit of influences, first pro work, and then we like to talk to you about Dr. Weird because, like I said, not a lot of people know about him, and you're going to be having that new thing. So, shoot, go ahead.
Okay. Well, my first pro work, my first published comics work was Thorn, published in Battle Axe by my good friend Chris here.
And it came out from Comics Interview.
Okay. And and I also had some short stories that appeared in anthologies, Flashing Swords Against Darkness, number 5. Okay. But Dr. Weird, the character, he's a ghostly avenger who fights supernatural evil. So every issue, he's sensed some peril to the human race, and his mission is to make sure that they're safeguarded against that evil.
Well, that's kind of cool, actually. Now, you said it was going to be put out by October Comics in October. Let me guess, a Halloween release date?
Close enough. We do want to get it out early enough so it's available. There's a lot of promotion for Halloween.
All right, well, I appreciate that. And now we're going back to Bud. Bud is having a hard time here because he's just like, I'm so tired. So, all right.
My knees are killing me. I'm kneeling on the floor here.
We won't go there. All right, Bud, your turn. Go ahead.
Well, my first published work was for Now Comics Twilight Zone, the annual. A copy of which I hold in my hand. Visual aids, folks.
I feel like I'm there now.
Yeah, you and me both. I hooked up with Gary and Chris. Was it about 3 years ago? And they were looking for kind of an energy wielding kind of a character, and we just got to talking. And I just said, well, gee, how about a character called The Beacon? And we started talking and worked it out, and they liked it and they liked what I did, so they got me involved with this. Let's see. I'm just out looking for for other stuff to do and trying to keep busy.
Well, it's kind of cool. Well, guys, I really appreciate it and you spending the time with us, letting us come here and talk to you again. We appreciate everything. I'm Larry Snowdy. Keep watching Big Bang Comics. Image. We'll be back with another interview.
I made that car payment yesterday. I swear to God.